As the Canadian physician William Osler once said, the desire to take medicine is perhaps the greatest feature which distinguishes man from animals. From keyhole surgery to stem cell research, modern medicine enables the 20th century man to play God. But how did we get here? What incremental advances through the ages gave birth to the medical wonders of today? Here to discuss the history and practice of medicine are Stephen Merchant, graduate from the University of Warwick and now award-winning writer.
Thank you very much indeed.
And Karl Pilkington, a man with no qualifications, very little education, but who is now known the world over as a shaven chimp with a head like a fucking orange.
Alright.
Well, there is obviously so much to discuss, Ricky. I wonder, in an effort just to provoke some initial thoughts, if I can offer another quote from the great Carl Sagan, who said, advances in medicine and agriculture have saved vastly more lives than have been lost in all the wars in history. So quite a...
yeah, just shows you shouldn't really worry about war.
What do you mean?
It's not a big problem, is it? Obviously. So, that's a good point there, Carl. War's not as bad as a lot of people make out. What do you think, Carl? Overrated? Too much fuss about all...
Well, I don't know anyone who's died in a war, but I know loads of people who have died from, you know, cancer and what have you. So is that going on Carl's quote? Does that work? Is he right? What did he say?
Good, well we're off to a fascinating start. I think it's probably best, Rick, if we return to the very beginning of time, the dawn of man, because of course, even in primitive prehistoric ages, medicine was practiced in some ways, from the research people have done, cave paintings and the like. Karl, I wonder if you would just give us your initial thoughts on, you know, the medicine of the ancient world.
You sound like you haven't studied it, or you're being...
You're being modest.
You're being modest?
Never really thought about it.
What do you think?
They didn't have much. I know that, Tutankhamun, he died of having a knee injury. So they didn't have that much medicine knocking about back then.
Right, where do you get this information from? It sounds vague.
I read it at an exhibition I went to, and
did you read the whole sentence, or just...
No, I just saw they had some video footage made up. It wasn't from the time, and they just sort of said this is probably what happened.
Sure. Did you put the headphones on and listen though, or do you just guess it from the pictures?
I just looked because I couldn't have the headphones.
Of course not.
Why couldn't you have the headphones?
They're expensive.
How much?
About 50 quid, I think, deposit and everything.
Well, you get that back though if you return them. All you have to do is take them off your head and hand them in.
I don't like the idea of handing money over, because it's like when you get a flat and that and you put a deposit in, you never get the full deposit back. I don't like deposits.
Well, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to take 50 quid off because you put wallpaper on your headphones.
No, but it's
not the same, is it?
Exhibition.
So you're going to deprive yourself of education because you
don't
trust
deprive me. I saw it.
the Natural History Museum.
He came off a chariot. They're dangerous things.
He came off a chariot. You saw that on the... How do you know he died? How could you tell from visual images that Tutankhamun died from a knee injury?
It's just... honestly, you're going to make yourself look daft here, because that's what happened.
Imagine that. In a room with Karl Pilkington, we make ourselves look daft. How would we have to... that would be incredible.
So aside from Tutankhamun's knee injury, that's pretty much your grasp of the ancient world in medicine?
Well, I don't know anyone else who's knocking about.
Well, what about if we go back even further? What about if we go to sort of primitive man, cave-dwelling man? What do you know there of medicine in that early stage?
They didn't really bother.
Okay, is that guessing, or
wasn't the earliest ones like people like shaman and those
absolutely, of course,
tribal lords that would say, well, that was I assume even pagan man had sort of apothecaries that certain roots and...
Yeah, shaman who would use herbs and so on. But of course, if we go back to primitive man, you're obviously familiar, I believe it's pronounced, is it trepanning?
Oh, when you take the top of your head off and let out the demons. And
they found various skulls from ancient man with holes bored in the top, some of which had healed over, suggesting that they had indeed drilled holes in their head, or presumably they wouldn't have had drills in that point, cracked the head, and in their thinking letting out evil spirits, and then they healed back over. So in some instances, the people survived.
Don't you think it's fascinating that there was one point when man discovered that this thing that we now call the brain which sort of houses the mind, he knew was in his head.
It's not that amazing.
Well, no, it's not to you, because you know it's there. But
but back then, I reckon I'd know that's where it is.
why? Can you feel where you're thinking?
Well, it just makes sense to put it there.
What do you mean?
When you think and you speak, it comes out your mouth. So it just makes sense that whatever's near that is near to the mouth. If your brain was in your foot, it'd take ages for you to say anything.
No, it wouldn't! Why?
Yeah. This is like actually talking to a primitive man about his understanding of medicine. They would have more insight. By this point, we'd have just cracked open your head to get the demons out. Shall we move on to the ancient world in terms of Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, of course, because they made huge advances, particularly the Romans, who understood, of course, the importance of sanitation. You know, famously, their streets were clean.
Yeah. Don't you think that if we hadn't have cleaned up as much, that, I don't know, we'd be stronger?
What?
Well, I know what you mean. Yeah, they say let your kids eat dirt. Yeah, of course. Well, that's building up its sort of immunity system. If you're too closeted, you don't fight it. And that's exactly what immunisation is, giving you a bit.
Yeah, but it's
of the
gone
disease.
mental now. Whenever a baby's born, he's drugged out of its eyeballs. It's only about a week old. They're giving it all sorts of shots.
Like what?
Loads of stuff for whooping cough.
Yeah, you don't want whooping cough. Tutankhamun could have died of whooping cough.
No, but give it loads of stuff, and now it's like I don't know. It's making us weak.
Yeah. Soon there's going to be things that, one, we're not immune to, and two, our antibiotics no longer work, because of course things like the viruses and bacteria or whatever, they evolve and change so quickly that you can't keep up with them, and also there's this big thing, like the superbug, for example. There's a very strong theory that says that it's where people took half the course of antibiotics, and what it did was, it was almost like an immunisation to the bacteria and virus against the antibiotic. They got stronger.
That's what I mean.
So yeah, we need some germs, as you'd call them, but there are some that we have eradicated. I mean, I think it was in our lifetime that they eradicated smallpox from the world. They just stopped it, and it saved, millions and millions of lives, and they wiped it out.
There are rumours, of course, that both Russia and America still have the smallpox virus under lock and key, which they could theoretically breed and use in a chemical warfare situation.
Well, there was a bit of a scandal a few years ago, I think 10 years ago, where in a university laboratory, someone came across a marked yogurt pot in deep freeze that had smallpox in it. That was a hangover from the 70s.
When you say it was marked, was it like someone's put their name on it because they don't want someone to eat their smallpox yogurt?
I think they looked into it, and it was the deep frozen smallpox virus that thawed out.
They
and
just
released.
left in a fridge.
Well, I think so. Yeah, it was an admin
understand.
problem. I'm sure that it's somewhere. What I mean is, it's under lock and key or frozen at minus 200 degrees centigrade. Why?
Under lock and key and all that. It's not good enough. Get rid of it. Why are they keeping a little tub of smallpox knocking about?
Well, are they not meant to be?
Well, that's a lesson.
What was he doing there in the first place? To me, that's like in James Bond, where they don't kill him when they have the chance. There's always that little thing of, let's play with danger. Let's keep a bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably
next to AIDS in the Chiara bottle. I don't understand why you'd store that.
Well, there's probably a presumption, it's probably an overhang from the Cold War, where people were thinking, well, listen, what if Russia's still got some smallpox? We better hang on to some smallpox.
It's just clutter, though, as well, isn't it? You see, we're obsessed. We're keeping stuff. And it's the same with germs. We can't even say, get rid of that. We won't be needing it. Smallpox. We'll keep it just in case. Get rid of it. We've got this obsession thing again. It's saving everything. It's like how we save every animal, even a germ. We get upset about if it dies out.
Yeah, but you say that, but of course, famously Alexander Fleming discovered what may be the most important breakthrough of the 20th century, which was the first antibiotic, I think, in 1928, and he's literally saved hundreds of millions of lives with that, changed the face of modern medicine, and he discovered that because he left a bit of old bread out for a while, and it went all mouldy in his kitchen, and he thought, what's that? Oh, Let's have a look.
Like I've said to you before, it's down to him being scruffy more than anything. It just seems like there's a lot of scruffy kitchens around that. I mean, you're saying.
But think if his cleaner had come in and gone, "Oh, Mr. Fleming, you disgust me, you fucking filthy scruffy cunt. I'm gonna throw all this bread away." He's gonna go, Maud, what did you do with that old bread I left out? It'd gone green, sir, so I chucked it away. Oh, Maud, you dopey fucking slut. You've just caused millions and millions of people to die. Keep out of my fucking kitchen.
I know, but don't put it there. It's the same way smallpox in a yogurt pot. It's in a yogurt pot.
Wow.
You're asking for trouble.
But what if Maud had come in and thrown that away? Again?
He couldn't shout at her. She's doing a job. I'd be annoyed if it was still there.
Yeah,
I'd say it's been here now for a couple of weeks. You haven't even asked. There's a lot of cleaners. That's part of the problem, I'd say. The cleaners. They're not doing the job. That's the problem in hospitals, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's filth everywhere.
Well, they proved a point. In one hospital, they brought a team of people in to show doctors and nurses how to clean things properly, and deaths went down 30%.
There you go.
Just from properly washing your hands and properly washing the floor and things. That's amazing, isn't it?
It's pretty simple. Just don't put, like, yogurt pots with smallpox in the fridge.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a starter.
Yeah, but you were saying earlier, let's let babies eat mud, don't inject them.
Yeah, but
let them crawl around a dirty floor, clean up the floor, and no one will die.
I did say that, but we've gone too far now. Babies are coming out mad. Oh, they can't handle anything now. Oh, he's got a runny nose. They're coming out all mardy.
Get mardy?
Ill. Yeah, they get ill easy. They're not tough babies anymore. We're ending up with a load of weak people who need looking after all the time. That costs a lot of money. And they can't do anything. They're useless. Now, that doesn't happen in other nature. If a little weak bird is born, you see Bill Oddie saying that won't last. he says that won't last a week, and he's right. You watch it and he says, "Oh, that third baby that came out, it died."
But what's your point, Carl? That modern medicine, which can help people live to the age of 75, 80, that it shouldn't be doing that? It should let people just die off?
Well, here's something, right? The estate that I grew up on, there's a woman there.
Yeah.
Scruffy Sandra.
I like her already! Oh, it's great! It's so descriptive!
Now,
she had no chance, even if she cleaned up her act.
Yeah.
She'd come in looking like Pretty Woman. You go, alright, Scruffy.
No,
What's the point? What is the point?
So the thing is, she used to always get on these buses called dialer rides that were sort of like posh taxis. You could call for one, it'd come round to your house, and it would pick you up and you'd pay like 50p.
But it would pick up a bunch of other people as well.
Yeah, on the way. So it would take ages to get to where you're going.
That is.
Oh, it's good though. It's kind of a bit of a day out. Old people used to love it because you'd get to see things.
Right.
And you'd hear a call coming in on the radio that, Scruffy Sandra's being picked up, and you go, oh god. And she'd always have loads of bin bags with her for some reason. Now the thing is,
well, she sounds clean.
She stunk.
Well, she's taken out the bin bag. Was she homeless?
No, she wasn't homeless. No, she used to she just didn't bath and that. She just stunk. But the weird thing is,
why did they call her Stinky Sandra?
She never was ill.
Right.
People didn't sit next to her.
Yeah.
Because she stunk.
Yeah.
Now, because of that, anyone who might have had a bit of flu or a cold never sat next to Scruffy Sandra.
Right.
Because she stunk. But that was good. That was like a protection thing for her, because she knew that because she stunk, no one wants to sit next to her, she wouldn't pick up the germ.
Right. Now, but this is quite... Your point is, in order to fend off illness, you have to not bathe, and so you stink.
So you're saying that it wasn't that she'd built up an immunity, it was that she stank so much that flu wouldn't come near her.
This is such a specific example. It's not applicable in any other scenario.
There's always colds, there's always flu. It's whether your immunity is good or bad. The times I get ill are usually after like a long haul flight or something, when you're surrounded by it and you're run down a little bit.
Or maybe if you didn't bathe for 3 days before the flight.
Yeah. So, it's always there. There's colds and flus everywhere. That's interesting, isn't it, that more sort of colds are spread through shaking hands than people, just taking in the air. Because people sneeze into their hand, and they think that's sort of safer, but then they shake hands, and you get it on your hand, and it sort of dies in the air quickly, but it stays on your skin a bit more, because it's, you're nice and warm, lovely environment. So, that's why some sort of germaphobes don't even shake hands anymore.
Yeah, but that's going too far, because they're going to die or something. You can't be that paranoid. You've got to get on with your life.
Loneliness.
And it's good to feel ill, because when you feel better, you appreciate how good you feel.
Doesn't make any sense at all. It's good to feel ill. Doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it does afterwards. The other weekend, when I was ill, I don't know what was up with me, but I got something.
Symptoms?
Went to the toilet a lot, felt sick at the same time, got a sweat on, felt weak, had the shakes.
Just a bug, yeah.
Lasted probably about 24 hours. After that 24 hours, you go, oh, I feel good again. It's nice to feel good again. And it makes you appreciate how good you feel. Now, sometimes I don't know if I feel well.
It doesn't make any sense at all either. What do you mean, sometimes you don't know whether you feel well?
Because I've been in my body for years.
Here he goes again.
Go on, yeah.
Here he goes again.
Now,
the two minds.
If there was some sort of kit that the doctor said, how are you feeling, Mr. Pilkington? And I go, oh, I think I feel alright. And they go, well, do you? Yeah, I don't know. And they go, well, step into the machine, right? Get into the machine, and if he could somehow transfer my feeling into his body so I could feel how he feels, and then he can feel how I feel, and he'll go, oh, you're not well at all. Your heartbeat's irregular for a start.
You're a maniac.
This is... I don't know what's going on here.
Because why don't you just accept that if you feel well, you know...
Because you don't know if you feel well.
Hang on, let's get this machine built. Sorry, why are people bothering studying AIDS? We got to get this machine built.
Listen, this machine could do a lot of good if they could do it.
Why?
Because some people... You hear about people who go, oh, I think I've got a bit of wind. Before you know it, they drop down dead. Right? Because they didn't know. They just... Well... Didn't Mr. Jones have a sweat on, Mrs. Jones, before? Oh yeah, he did, but he always had a sweat on. Well, didn't it bother him? No, he was used to it. Happened for years. Why didn't you come in? Oh,
so, and what would the machine do again?
The machine would make my doctor feel like me. He'd be sat there and he'd go...
Sorry, who's saying to Mrs. Jones, didn't Mr. Jones have a sweat on?
The doctor.
So the doctor knew he had a sweat on. Why didn't the doctor say, well, we don't look at that?
No, he didn't. He asked
He's
Mrs.
not a very
Jones.
good doctor, though, is he? He's not a very good doctor, then.
Yeah, but this is the problem now, isn't it?
Right, so Mr. Jones went to the doctor and said, oh, I've got a sweat on, right?
Right, so he'd go, well, I'll tell you what, get in the machine. So Mr. Jones gets in the machine.
Yeah.
The doctor hits the button. Mr. Jones gets into the doctor. The doctor goes, you have got a sweat on. I'm familiar with this because I had a fella in the other day with a similar thing. Take 3 of these.
You are a mental case. I don't know what this is.
But why can't the doctor make that observation like a doctor does? Why can't the doctor, using his knowledge, observe the person with the sweat on?
This is like a scene from Ghost. This is like Patrick Swayze.
Listen, do you know that time when I went to the doctors and he said my nerves are too short?
That doesn't make any sense at all.
No, well, listen, I've told you about it. I don't want to go through it again. But he looked at my legs and stretched them and that. He said, yeah, it's the old short nerves problem. Now, that took like 3 visits before he worked that out.
Right.
But how would he be able, just because if he was feeling how you were feeling, I wouldn't help him identify it,
yeah,
would it?
You're there in your body and you're not going, bloody hell, my nerves are a bit short. Doctor, you go into the doctor, okay, and we're just going to place Pilkington in.
Right.
Pilkington is in me. Oh, my nerves are too short.
When my nerves were short.
Are they not short already? Have they extended since then?
Well, yeah, I just have to do stretches and it's pull them about.
Right.
But when I had that, I'm not very good with words.
Go on.
So when I was going in saying, Doctor, my knee's aching, and he'd go, what sort of ache is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just an ache.
Toothache. It's like a toothache in my leg.
No, but it's different. It's a different ache. Now the thing is,
it's like an arseache.
It's hard to explain an ache.
So he'd have to feel the ache, and then he could make an assumption from it.
Thank you.
So he would presumably go through training, going in the machine, and they'd bring in various sick people, and he would experience and feel every single ailment.
Great.
Yeah, but
Doctor, I'm going to let you know now what a swift kick in the bollocks feels like, just in case you ever have to diagnose that. Oh, you God! I can't remember that one.
Yeah, but...
Doctor, now you're going to feel a spike up the arse.
It's all about...
Oh, I can't remember that one. Okay.
No, couldn't I just wait until the man comes in with a spike up my arse?
No, you got to tell you so you know
but
when
I
you
reckon
feel
I could assess it if he's coming he's got the spike up his arse.
You've got to experience everything before someone comes in and gets into your body like Ghost, and you'll know what it is.
Hey, listen, let's not dismiss this idea out of hand, of course, because you'll famously remember, Rick, that Karl had the idea of a man who can grow backwards. So he's born as an old man, and when he dies he's a young baby. I think we're all looking forward to the new Brad Pitt film. That is exactly that plot.
A bit strange.
It's not really strange, is it? Because it's from a novel, I think written before Karl was born.
That's true, that is true, yes.
Yeah,
so
but I haven't read it.
Well,
so
that's obvious.
It's just an idea. and with all ideas comes something. Einstein said that. He said if an idea isn't...
Go on. Wait. Just let him finish. We've got an Einstein quote here.
Yeah.
This is an historic day. Karl, sorry, what were you saying? What did Albert Einstein say?
He just said something along the lines of...
No. Give us the quote.
It doesn't matter about how he worded it. It's the point in hand.
Well, I think it is. I think a quote. I think like all, any sort of poetic content of anything is exactly how it's worded. So just what did Einstein say exactly?
Well, he said something along the lines of...
Go on.
An idea. If an idea isn't daft...
Oh, start again.
No, come on, let's hear it.
No, because he started...
He said if an idea isn't daft, it isn't worth thinking about.
What? Say it again?
If an idea isn't daft, it isn't worth thinking about.
I can't imagine him saying daft.
I can.
Well, it was something like that, though, meaning that every new idea seems a bit mental.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good point.
But then it leads to something.
Well,
I'm not sure that
but
I think if we were sat with Einstein now and you'd brought up the machine that allows doctors to feel, I don't think he'd be saying we should pursue that idea.
There's some ideas that go, I think the Earth might be round, who go, oh, you idiot, it's flat. And then there's people who stand in doorways covered in crucifixes with tinfoil on their head saying, Jesus is in my cock.
Yeah. But
now, he's a mentalist.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, wouldn't you have said it was mental years ago when someone said, I'm going to make a machine so I can look inside your head? Years on, hello, get in the machine, we've got an MRI scanner. It's the next one along.
They'd go, well, why are you looking in their head? It's where the brain is.
I'll tell you what, we've got similar to it anyway, because I've read about this machine where, right, say if, put it on Steve, right?
Go on.
I wear a camera on my head.
Right, if this is going to be I can see Steve's thoughts.
No, but it's similar to that, and it works as well. So, I put a camera on Steve's head.
Okay, it's changed already. Whose head's the camera on?
I don't think it matters.
Okay,
Let's put
Just
the camera on Steve's head.
Okay,
right,
the
I've got a camera on Steve's head.
Right.
What I've got on my head are some goggles.
Right.
Over your eyes?
Yeah.
Okay.
You've got the camera. Through my goggles, I'm seeing what your camera's seeing.
And where's the camera? Is it looking out from my eyes?
Yeah. Right.
So basically you can see what I can see.
So I'm seeing what you see.
But couldn't you just stand where I'm standing?
Well, that's just a monitor. Well, that happens now, yeah. You can all have the same monitor.
Hang on, so
Okay.
wait.
So... How does it work now?
Wait.
Hang on a minute.
This is, you're at the Royal College of Surgeons. You're presenting this idea now. Everyone in the world is sat down here. The eminent scientists. They're going, Karl Pilkington is a genius. He's got an idea for cameras and goggles.
No, you're saying this already exists.
This has just come out the other week.
Oh, okay.
Put a camera on Steve's eyes. He sees through the camera. I've got the goggles.
Why is he seeing through a camera? I don't know what you mean. He's just got
wherever he looks, the camera's looking.
Okay, so it's a camera, right? Okay,
it's a camera on his head.
He's not seeing through it. It's just seeing what he sees because it's pointing in exactly the same direction as his eyes.
Yeah, if he turns his head to the right,
yeah, exactly.
I will see.
So it's monitored to you. So you're looking at a monitor, really.
Right. So one of the simplest ideas, but it's taken us 20 minutes to explain it.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So it's the same as a cameraman pointing the camera anywhere. We're watching the telly. We're seeing what the cameraman sees, basically. Go on then.
But it's not like
You've just invented television. Well done.
Okay, right. So I've got the camera on my head. It's seeing what I'm seeing. Go.
Right.
You've got goggles on your eyes.
I've got goggles on. If you turn right, I feel like I'm turning right.
Okay.
Now my brain gets to a point that if you wear it for long enough, that brain thinks it's you. Because what happens is, because the brain's being kidded. At the end of the day, my brain thinks it's seen everything because my eyes are looking at stuff.
Yeah, no, that's true, but it doesn't think I'm Steve Merchant. It experienced what Steve's seeing this like a virtual reality.
No, but that's the weird thing. If you wear it for long enough, the brain's sort of seeing it like Steve's arm go up to his head and scratch it, and it gets to a point where the brain feels a scratch, even though it's not scratching my head. So they're saying this is like, you're kidding your brain, basically.
I can see how that would work.
But you're not going to believe that you're me.
No,
you're not going to start
Merchant.
experiencing life as I experience it.
My brain would.
What do you mean your brain would, but you wouldn't?
Because I'm kidding the brain.
Done this,
yes, but you couldn't kid it into thinking you're me. You wouldn't forget that you're Karl wearing a contraption.
But what it was saying is if someone went up to your stomach and started tickling you, my brain would look down and see that someone is tickling me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'd start laughing.
I can understand you
No,
might...
you wouldn't. No, you would. Well, yeah, you might do, because it might be a confusing stimulus.
Yes, but the point is there may be certain physical things which you experience through it, but you're not going to stop thinking, hang on, I'm Carl wearing the mask, aren't you?
But you can do that.
You're thinking you're Carl, seeing all the things that actually
you're going to
Steve's
start having memories that you think are your memories are going to change? You're not going to remember your name, you're not going to remember Suzanne's name? What were you talking about?
No, but say if we did that at that event with a load of students in front of us, I'd remember that day through your eyes.
Right.
So I'd be living your day.
But you'd also remember that you were wearing
life.
a contraption. You wouldn't remember it as being, I was Steve Merchant for a day.
But I kind
of
was.
have different thoughts, because you'd access... But look, Carl, listen. I sat down and we watched the same thing. We watched a bit of Brokeback Mountain, and we all had different thoughts.
Yeah, because we're all sat in different places.
No, roughly speaking, we had the same experience when we're looking at the same thing. But it doesn't mean you assess it the same way, it doesn't mean you understand it the same way, and it doesn't mean you apply the knowledge in the same way.
No, I understand that, but...
It's an interesting experiment. It is interesting. It'd be interesting to see it live... you're actually living... It's a different window to the world.
Well, yeah, say if, like, I was a fellow with no arms and legs, but these goggles had a really long lead, and you went about living your day, and I was looking through your eyes, I could have quite an interesting life.
Yes, you could, but you wouldn't stop remembering that you're the person wearing the contraption.
And also...
But what is life? Life is what you experience.
Yeah, but if Steve went off... but you'd know this, wouldn't you? I mean...
would you? If you stuck one on a baby?
Well, yeah, that's different. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, if a baby knew no different, and those were his experience, then he would be feeling what he thought he was. Then there'd be nothing. But then, you know, let's face it, tickling someone is the sensation. It's not the thought, it's not the concept of being tickled is funny.
Because if someone goes to tickle you, but they don't tickle you, you can actually laugh, can't you? Because you go, oh God, I know what the feeling's going to be like.
Yes, because you've already experienced the real thing.
Yeah. I still think.
Well, so stop that sentence there, and you're lying.
Let's go back, if we may, shall we, to just some of the extraordinary early developments in medicine. Do you mind if we?
Yes.
If we go back, just get back on message. There are, of course, a number of extraordinary developments. You may obviously be aware, Carl, that the first contraceptive diaphragms, centuries ago, were citrus rinds. Half an orange rind, for instance, would be used.
I mean, more selfish men turned them inside out.
I believe that's also still being used in parts of Manchester.
For what?
An orange. Just think of your head.
And it worked?
Well, we don't know at this juncture.
I mean, maybe... I don't know.
It worked for contraception, because women went, fuck off, what are you coming to me with a fucking orange on your cock for, you dirty cunt?
But it could... I mean, again, it's that thing, innit, of we look at it now, and we laugh. But look at what's happening. People now are always trying to get us to eat more fruit.
I don't know.
Amazing.
That's a way of getting...
I thought for a minute he was going to say, okay, so they start with... Then they went from the orange rind to, say, a coconut shell.
Yeah.
That was too big, that didn't work.
Run! Here comes Coconut John!
No, don't put half a pineapple on your cock, that's insane.
Yeah, that's mental.
And then somewhere down the line they finally got to contraception as we understand it. I thought that's where you're going, but no something about eating oranges is healthy for you.
What I'm saying is, if you go into any well-known supermarket and you look at, say, some young kid who's had a kid, and you look at stuff in their shopping basket, they're not buying fruit. No. They're buying, you know, burgers and chips.
Turkey Twizzlers.
Yeah.
Crisps
and all that. Now, but they love having it away. Get some fruit in. So they definitely have fruit in the house, which at the moment, a lot of kids don't have fruit in their house. That's why they're eating Turkey Twizzlers. But the mum loves having it away. So she would have loads of fruit in. So everyone's happy.
If she was using an orange for contraception, she would also be giving the kids...
well, you wouldn't waste
so half the orange she'd give to the kids, and half the orange she'd stick up her penny.
Yeah, a treat for everyone. Have a bit of fruit, and she's got what she wants. Whereas at the moment, what happens? A burger's not coming in helpful for anyone.
If you want me tonight, pop a sesame seed bone on your cock. Take out the fucking pickle. No one likes a fucking pickle up the fanny. Oh, he's a bloody romantic. He popped a plum roast sausage up my fanny yesterday. He loves me. Oh, fuck no. Right.
Did you know, Karl, that cataract operations on the eye were performed in India as early as 1000 BC. And in Babylonia, in the same time, the fees of eye surgeons were rigidly fixed by law and were quite generous. So, for instance, if you're a very rich person, it cost you about 10 shekels. If you're a slave, only 2 shekels. But if the rich person lost the sight of their eye after the surgeon had operated, they would cut off the hand of the doctor.
What? So he gets one chance at it?
Well, he doesn't want to screw up.
Yeah, I know, but everyone's allowed a couple of errors. That's how you learn, isn't it? That's a stupid rule. But then again, I don't know why they'd be so worried about their eyes back then.
What do you mean?
Well, there was less to look at back then.
What do you mean?
Well, like now, I saw a fella on the tube on the way here today who was blind. Proper, fully on blind.
Blind?
Now, for him, I just was like, oh, that's so depressing.
Right.
So much to see in the world now. Loads of stuff.
Right.
Art, buildings, and all that. Now, back then, if these people did have sight once, the pyramids, you remember it in your head. And that's enough. There wasn't loads of clutter anyway. It was all sand. So even if you fell over because you're blind, at least you landed on something soft. Whereas now, it's rubbish being blind. Stairs, loads and loads of people, loads of curbs and things. It's not a good time to be blind. So I'd prefer, if I was going to be blind,
That's
be blind
brilliant.
back when Tutankhamun was knocking
Do you think that's
about.
a choice that people have that are blind now?
No.
If you're going to be blind back when Tutankhamun was knocking about.
But all I'm saying is...
Sorry, Doctor, I didn't realise there was a choice. Oh, yeah. If you'd already told me you were going blind, I'd have said, well, let's get you back 3,000 years.
It just seems a bit harsh, that's all. When someone's trying to help you and operate on your eyes, and they have a little bit of a slip-up, like we all do in jobs, you have a bad day, and he has to have his hands cut off. Then who's helping him? Who puts the hand back on him? And if they don't put the hand back on him right, do they have something done to them?
They're blinded.
Well, it just seems like
yeah.
a no-win situation. I wouldn't be a doctor, and maybe that's why there aren't enough doctors about now, because of things like that put people off.
I don't think so.
Well, I wouldn't be a doctor now.
Why?
Look at the hassle that happens now. You're being watched all the time. You're not allowed to slip up.
Right.
Well, that's generally quite a good rule, isn't it, that doctors don't make mistakes?
No, but you've got to... I'd say at the end of the day, it's a complicated job. I'd get more annoyed when, say like the fella I've got round coming to fix my boiler. The fact he keeps having a go, he keeps charging me 80 quid, he don't really fix it.
Is it still not working?
Back. I haven't cut his hands off.
No.
He keeps coming back. Oh, I'm a bit short on money, let's go round to the Pilkington household. Charge him 80 quid again. Oh, it's Christmas, let's pop round twice. Do you know what I mean? Whereas a doctor who's trying to help people, it's a difficult job.
Yeah.
If he makes a mistake now and again, I think, well, it's bound to happen. It's complicated.
Can't you see where I agree with you that people make mistakes, and I imagine there are good and bad doctors. They try and even that out by it being a very, very obviously stringent exam, and
It's 11 years they've got to do. I read up on it. 11 years it takes to be a doctor.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
It takes 7.
No, but then they've got to be in hospital or something for 4 years before they get to play with someone.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So
okay.
that's ages. You're going to get bored. You're going to get bored.
Well, but that's it. They really do try and rule out, and there's still chance and mistake, and don't forget, you're given nearly impossible tasks still in medicine. Just think of the risk with transplants alone. And they're getting better and better at those, and they're lasting longer.
But the fact of the matter is, it's better to have a go, innit, than not have one. If someone said to me, right,
depends.
you need a new heart, we're gonna do it.
If they say you're gonna die anyway, let's try this new thing, you might as well. But then there are some things that there's not worth the risk. When someone, it goes wrong, someone's facial surgery goes wrong because they wanted plumper lips or a little nose, I'll go, you're a fucking idiot. Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
You shouldn't even be doing that. Doctors shouldn't even be allowed to do that.
I don't know why, I really don't know why, a doctor, under a Hippocratic oath, takes the risk of something going badly wrong, sometimes general anaesthetic, because they can't be bothered to fucking go for a run, right? So they have fucking bits sliced off and tied up and sucked out. I want to go, you lazy fucking fat pig. Just go for a run and stop eating burgers, right? You might fucking die.
I know.
Well, Can I just stop you there, Rick? Because actually, if it weren't for a plump patient, the stethoscope would never have been invented.
Well, because he couldn't hear.
Yeah, the person who invented the stethoscope, Dr. René Laennec, couldn't have a very fat patient come in and couldn't hear her heart through the blubber.
But then that's the sign of the problem. I mean, that's the sign of the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, rather than saying, hang on, let's get a bigger chair in for her because she's got a fat arse, I'd say, well, you're not welcome here. If you can't get through the door, I'm not seeing you. I mean, if you've got a doctor who's having his hands cut off because he messed up an operation, yet fatty's coming in and getting special treatment, I wouldn't give him time of day. You see, this is what I'm saying, right? This is going right back to what I was saying at the beginning. The problem is, we've got pills for everything, and all this is doing is making people treat the body badly. Because you're going, be alright, there'll be something.
It's funny, isn't it, that like these tests, they go, well, let's have a look. It's what we were talking before about weighing kids. If they can't get through the door to get to school, you don't know. If they go, oh, I'm just going to take a sample of your stool. Actually, I don't. You're too fat. Your shit's come out like tagliatelle. Your ass is too fucking fat. Stop eating your gut.
I'm going to take a sample of your stool. What, the one you fucking broke when you sat down?
I just think this is the problem. You know, we can do too much, and because of this, people are going, I don't care about my body. They worry more about the plasma telly getting a scratch on it than they do about their own body.
Exactly.
And if we stopped giving them tablets willy-nilly, they'd have to look after the body more.
Willy-nilly is one of the worst diseases in the Western world, of course. Now, medicine is the art or science of healing. And that doesn't always have to be a drug or a surgery. I mean, bedside manner has a lot to do with things, and also it's all about care as well. We mustn't just forget that some people don't need medicine; they just need help. For example, there are people that help disabled people have intercourse where they can't, you know, maybe get on to the woman herself, and there's someone that actually helps the man put in his penis to the woman's vagina. They leave the room. What?
I've never even heard of this.
It's true, absolutely true. They're helpers.
Yeah, no, I believe that is the case.
Yeah. And that's just as needed as anything that might cure
them. It's not. That's pleasure.
Yeah, so what are you saying, because you can't walk or move, that you can't love someone and want to share that love?
I'm just saying it's not a priority.
Well, no, but they're gonna live, they're healthy apart from their disability. I've met someone, they wanna, you know, consummate this love, and someone is, helps them out and goes, well, you know, that's part of my job.
No, it's not part of the job.
Well, it is part of this job, because that's their job.
I have never heard anyone say, oh, I've had a right day today.
Why?
I've been playing with Arthur's tackle all day.
They don't play with Arthur's tackle, they pop Arthur's tackle in Hilda's vagina.
I don't think they do.
They do!
How can they enjoy that? I mean, maybe once, and they'd go, that didn't work, did it? I didn't enjoy that, Hilda.
No.
How can they enjoy it with a nurse stood there having to do that?
No, they help her in. She helps Arthur in, or he, might be a male nurse, pops Arthur in, goes, okay, Arthur, I'll see you in a few minutes. Right, goes outside.
But what's the point, though, in that?
Why?
Because it's all about the mood and everything. He's just stuck onto like a stag beetle clinging onto a leaf. There's no enjoyment in that.
Oh, the well-known stag beetle copulating with a leaf syndrome.
No, but I'm just saying.
That's a well-known position in the Kama Sutra.
I'm just saying.
He knows it. You know, I think it's a lovely act, and someone's willing to. Wouldn't you help someone in?
Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not.
No. So the guy goes, oh, this is my wife. We're both so I can't. You know, can you just pop me in, Carl? You're the you're the only person around.
No, I don't think it's important.
But there
enough.
are people.
What do you mean you don't think it's important enough?
I'd be happy to go round, put the washing on for them, make the bed. Do you want a cup of tea? Yeah, I'd love one. There you go. Oh, just before you go, forget it. If they asked me to do that, I'd quit. And I don't think it happens, because people wouldn't take that on for a job. You never hear about it. On Comic Relief, when they're raising money, they don't go, thanks to Midland Bank for this £100,000, that's going to go towards Arthur getting his end away.
That's ridiculous. So you would rather them not have the pleasure of each other than just help them in?
No, because they'd work out some way that they could do something for each other. I want to play the guitar, my fingers aren't long enough. I've knocked it on the head. It's the same thing. If you can't do it, don't do it.
So are you telling me, right, okay, supposing there's a little fella who's got no arms, no legs, right?
Right.
Little Bob, okay, there he is. Alright, Carl, right? He's got a friend, another little fella with no arms and no legs. Alright, Carl. Right? They love each other. Two little fellas, two little dwarves with no arms and no legs, okay? Lovely little fellas. They get married, okay? Look, Carl, you can't put my penis up my boyfriend's bottom, can you?
No, I can't, no.
Why not? Why not?
Do you need anything else doing?
No, I'm fine, yeah.
No, it's weird how you can manage everything else.
Well, no.
I'm here to help you, everything else seems to be sorted.
Well, just in the chair.
Why do you need help in this department?
Well, because he's over there and I'm here, and if you just pop me in and just leave
No, I'm
us
not
there.
doing that, it's not good for you. You've lost your arms and legs, you'll be losing that soon if you carry on sticking it up there.
Well, after the medical advancements of the Greeks and the Romans, of course, through the Middle Ages, particularly in Europe, we ended up going backwards, and it became, people sort of returned to superstition, started relying on that. Sanitation was poor. A lot of the amazing sanitation the Romans had built was left to ruin, and we went backwards. And really, it wasn't until the Renaissance that people like Leonardo da Vinci started to, draw pictures of the anatomy and so on.
Well, putting scientific evidence and experimentation behind the theories, as opposed to someone with a big cauldron saying, if you bury a toad, your warts go away.
Exactly.
He looked into this and then thought, well, maybe they don't. Maybe it's a coincidence, So that's where experimentation comes. Empirical evidence, not just hope.
Of course, you still couldn't experiment or dissect humans because that was frowned upon. So often they would actually, the only people they were allowed to dissect and operate on were criminals. And at times, criminals would actually be dissected or cut open whilst they were still alive as part of their punishment. Is that ever justifiable? Do you think, Carl, that people sacrifice for medical advancements?
They do it now, don't they? You hear about these people having, tests done on them. You get paid 20 quid and they say, let's rub this cream on your head.
Yeah.
And you get your 20 quid, and if your head goes funny, they say, well, you took the 20 quid, it's your own fault.
Wasn't that a student that took, a few grand?
He became the living elephant man, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
It was quite horrific. His head was in all kinds of weird shapes.
I mean, that's unfortunate for 20 quid. But I'd say do it on the ill people, because they've got nothing to lose. Just test it. It's, all this testing on animals and that. Well, don't test it on animals. If you've got an itch, the doctor can say, I've got this cream here. We haven't tested it. It might work. It might make it worse. Give it a go.
Right.
Yeah, but the whole point is that if you do that, someone's head might blow up to the side of the elephant.
It might outweigh the ailment.
That's happened already. A fella who had nothing wrong with him has now got a head of the elephant man for 20 quid.
Yes, I know. Well, but...
That isn't fair.
No, I know. But you're saying, you're going for athlete's foot, rub this on your feet, your bollocks fell off. Never mind, it was a chance we had to take.
I mean, that's a particularly sloppy bit of medical research, that one.
I know, yeah.
No, but say like my Auntie Nora, right? She's had everything wrong with her, right? She's had tablets that haven't been tested on anyone else. They test them on Nora. She's up for it. She's like, oh, I haven't had that. What's our little tester?
Yeah.
She loves it. But she knows that that's the case, and she's happier to give something a go than not a go. I mean, it's ridiculous, the amount of stuff. She rattles, she carries that many pills. Like a maraca. You can hear her coming. But that's the way her life is now. She's just used to the fact that if it weren't for all these tablets, she'd be dead.
Yeah, but well, not necessarily. But the pills. She doesn't take pills that have been untested. She's not taking experimental pills.
I think she's honestly, she's got so much.
Well, so again, you just made that up then. You just assume that they haven't been tested on someone. Where'd they get them? Where'd they get these pills from that haven't been tested?
Well, it's all very new. She's on a lot of new medication. That can go either way.
Could this be one of the reasons why she farted for 24 hours?
It could have been one of the side effects.
5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes, was it?
Yeah, that's what my mum said. It's all the medication, because your body's in shock, isn't it? It's been, given all these drugs that it's not used to.
Luckily, some of the pills weren't suppositories, because she'd have lost them in the great fart of 1989. I've lost all my suppositories.
But that's what you do, innit? If you're in pain. And, I mean, I don't know if I told you, when I had kidney stones.
I think you mentioned it.
I was in agony.
Yeah.
And they said I was in A&E, lying on my back.
Mm.
And the woman at the A&E counter said to Suzanne, who's that over there? And she said, oh, he's with me. He's in agony. So they said, what's up with him? I said, oh, it's his kidney stones again. Because this is when I went back at the night.
Mm.
I was like, I couldn't care that people were staring at me. I was rolling about on the floor like a dying fly on my back. I just didn't care about what was going on around me. But I was told that because it's busy, that they might have to send someone out to shove like something up my arse that would get to the pain quicker.
Well, what do you mean send them out? Well, they send while you're lying on the floor in A&E, they're going to stick something in your arse.
What do you mean? Oh, you mean a pill? I thought you meant to get to your kidney quicker than up your knob.
No, a pill. They put it up there, and apparently it'll kick in quicker.
Yeah.
The tablet works quicker.
Yeah.
Up your arse than it does down your throat.
Yeah, because it's a mucous membrane and it's...
Well, I was up for it. I just was like, whatever it takes. Now, saying that to me now...
But hold on though, what if the doctor said, okay, I could give you this morphine, take it will take a few minutes to kick in, or I could rub some on my penis, I pop an orange on the end of my penis, I rub that in morphine, and I pop that out of your rectum, Mr. Pilkington. Are you in agony or not? Are you in agony? Okay, look, I'm just smearing...
I'd say I'll get a second opinion.
Well, no, you haven't got time. There it is. Do you want this up your arse? It's covered in morphine. He's in his private life he's a promiscuous gay man, but in his professional life he is a doctor with a morphine smeared penis, and he's ready for action. So if
he's willing to do that in the middle of A&E.
Yeah. So
he takes no pleasure from that.
It's the only way. So are you in pain? Do you want this done or not? Yes or no?
He comes out into A&E reception, his trousers around his ankles, he has an erect penis, he says, Karl, do you want me to stick this up your arse? And your answer is?
Yes or no?
You're in terrible agony.
He's wearing a condom. He smeared the condom in. I mean, it's not unprotected, morphine, penile, surgery. Administration.
And what? In and out, done.
Just in and out, yeah. It just administered your arse takes on the morphine from the Dr. Penis. And it's the only way, really.
In and out.
Yeah, in and out, up once, okay, and out.
It'll definitely work.
You will. The pain will go away.
No side effects.
It'll be pleasurable.
No side effects. No side effects. No.
I'd probably call Auntie Nora and ask if she's had it yet.
Can I just return us back to where we started from? Because in Ricky's introduction, he said that modern man, in a sense, with all the technology we have, can play God. And this is something which is huge now. A lot of ethical discussions about things like stem cell research. Should we be interfering in what should be a godly terrain? You say no straight away. Straight away, no.
I think they're sort of like messing about now. I think that's the problem. We've got the tools and they like to use them. And that's what happens. I've got a sander for Christmas, and I can't wait to sand stuff. I can't even think of enough things that need sanding, but I want to use it. And
that's scruffy sander.
And that's the problem, innit? If you've got the tools, you can't have the tools and say, pop them in the shed. Well, no, I don't want to use them. I've got a new tool here.
Right, sand the shed down.
That's the problem, innit? All these, medical people. That's what happened in the Hulk, innit?
Yeah, well, again, I'll just say that is a work of fiction. The Hulk.
Yeah, but with all fiction
comes
the future.
Yeah. Certainly in science fiction.
But the problem is, this is what I say is the problem. We can sum it up here if you like. I think it sums it up.
Go on, no, this is
is it a quote from someone?
Well, yeah, here's one for sound bites, and it just saves a lot of time, Karl's quote. You don't have to study the book or anything. So let's sum it up there. We're gonna end it here, but we're gonna end it with this quote from Karl Pilkington. Karl, shoot me.
People are living too long.
Okay, but that's your summary of medicine.
Well, yeah, it is, because it's kind of now. You see, I agree with medicine to stop pain because it's depressing pain. Stop the pain. I'd say, as soon as we sorted that out and we started saying, "Do you want a new face?" That's way over the line.
Yeah.
No one should be getting a new face unless they're really disfigured.
Yeah.
But those are the people who are getting new faces.
No, they're not. There's people messing about.
Yeah, no, it's people...
Well, plastic surgery, but that's people's own choice. They're paying for it.
It's ridiculous. I know, but
it's not taking it away from other people, is it?
Yeah, it is, because the person who's messing about with someone's face could be doing something else.
No, because they're plastic surgeons. They're privately employed.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be. They should be sorting someone else out who's got a little funny head. They shouldn't be messing about with
Pushing
someone who's got
himself
nothing wrong
forward,
with them.
trying to get some free treatment.
Get some free
And it
treatment
never
for
looks right anyway. They spend
No.
all that money, it never fits properly.
Yeah, but
No.
this is what annoys me about
Fish
Carl.
lips and
It
that,
just looks
that
wrong.
little, that stupid little skeletal nose.
You'd be
and all
better
the-
off changing the head, all of it, rather than messing about with the face, because it never fits properly.
But you've completely, as a form of summary, you have completely gone off tangent.
No,
and
That's
off
not
the
a
mark.
summary yet. Sum up.
Right,
I have one
right,
more go.
so-
This is the real one.
Yeah.
Okay, Carl. Sum up our global guide to medicine. Go.
Today's cure. Today's cure. It's something like that. It'll be something like. Today's cure is tomorrow's headache. It's all right.
That's all right.
Because what I'm saying there is,
Go on.
we can come up with stuff. We can come up with a tablet to get rid of headache. Tomorrow, your headache's gone. Your leg's hurting.
So today's cure is actually tomorrow's leg ache. So today's cure is tomorrow's leg ache.
Yeah. But ages ago, I
Go
said
on.
to you, don't solve problems,
Yeah.
because a problem solved is a problem caused.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
I don't remember that quote. But okay, so finally, in summation, what you said was
So, okay,
At the end of
So-
the day, we've all got to die of something.
right.
Now, Albert might come in. I'm a doctor. Right, Albert, how are you today? What's wrong with you today, Albert?
I've got an inflammation of the testicular region.
Right.
Oh, my scrotal sac is all stretchy and swollen. It's pustulating, and it's causing the penis to be all red and inflamed, and that spread to the anus.
Right. Take these tablets.
Right, where do I put them?
Just have them with some water after a bath.
Okay, I'm not gonna have a bath. I can't have a bath of these because honestly, you see these get in a bath and they start bubbling with the.
Yeah, like I say, just take the tablet.
I don't know what it is, but look at it. It's like a mess. It's like quite a mess down there. I can't.
Take the tablets.
Oh,
Take the tablets and come back. In a week's time. Let me know how it goes.
okay.
Right?
right. So
you know
let's
what it is?
Let's imagine that perfectly normal scenario has happened. What is your point?
Right, he'll come back the week after.
Yeah.
The problems downstairs will be sorted. But at the end of the day, he's 76. He's going to have something else wrong with him. I do another check on you, and even though your sack is sorted...
They're not quite right, to be honest.
No, but they're better.
Well, it swings and roundabouts
Yeah,
because
well, that's life. That's life, Albert.
the penis is much more functional. The testicles are really they've lost all their skin. It's just like a bag of spaghetti just hanging on the chair. And the arse. The arse is the itchiest arse I've ever had. I've had to, at some points, I've got blood under my fingernails from scratching my anus. So it's not completely cured.
And this is why no one wants to be a doctor anymore.
The English biologist Thomas Huxley once wrote, "To a person uninstructed in natural history, his country or seaside stroll is a walk through a gallery filled with wonderful works of art, 9/10 of which have their faces turned to the wall. Teach him something of natural history, and you place in his hands a catalogue of those which are worth turning around. To some, the wonders and intricacies of the natural world are a miracle, living proof of the existence of God. To others, the natural world is a wondrous illustration of Darwinian evolution." To discuss the complexities of plant and animal life, I'm joined by Stephen Merchant, graduate of the University of Warwick and award-winning writer.
Thank you so much for having me.
And Karl Pilkington, a man with no qualifications, very little education, but who is now known the world over as a man with a head like a fucking orange.
Right.
Natural history obviously takes in everything to do with animals, plants, bacteria, which are in neither group. I should start by just saying, Karl, that the natural world is so diverse that we don't even know how many species there are. Conservatively, there's 2 million. species of animals. I mean, without even taking in plant life, there are at least 2 million species of animal. With plants and animals, there could be up to 10 million species. There are 37,000 different species of spider alone. What do you think of that?
It's a lot.
It is, isn't it?
A lot. But if there's loads of stuff out there that we don't know about, and we don't know what it's doing, is it that important? Is it worth finding them now?
Well, yeah.
Why?
Well, it may give us the key to unlock other mysteries.
A spider won't.
Well, it might do.
A spider won't be unlocking any mysteries.
Well, that's totally...
Plants are different. I reckon there's a natural cure for everything out there.
Because there's loads of animals that have toxins that are used in medicine.
Yeah, I know that we use dangerous spiders to get rid of headaches or whatever, or they do in the tribes, right?
Yeah. Do you want to just expand on that point?
It's just that's what they do in tribes. They've got all these tribes, they've got all natural remedies. They go, what's up with you? You got a sore ankle, chew on this twig. And it works. I've seen it. They've sent women out there and, like, they couldn't believe the stuff they can do with twigs and trees and hedgehogs and stuff.
It wasn't an in-depth analysis, was it?
What I'm saying...
Women, they just sent some women out there.
No,
apparently.
Yeah.
I reckon the stuff that's got venom in it, that's useful, we probably know about all them. Because
it doesn't make any sense. We probably know about all of them.
What I mean is the police know about the gangsters. But they go, right, we're aware of them, let them get on with it. We'll keep our eye on them. And it's the same in the jungle. The spiders, the deadly ones you're aware of. The ones that are just pottering about, you go, don't even worry about them, don't even give them a name. They're not doing anything.
But what if there's another poisonous spider they haven't identified yet, they're lurking in the undergrowth?
I'd be very surprised.
So you'd be very surprised?
I'd be surprised if there was something...
It sounds like laziness on your part.
But they're discovering new species all the time.
We know about all the dangerous stuff now. Because we have to, we live in a world now. We do, we know about a lot of the dangerous stuff. Whenever they find something new now, it's like a new butterfly or...
Well, no, look at AIDS. When I was a kid, no one had ever heard of AIDS.
Yeah, but that's not a natural thing, is it? That's not like a spider or
What do you mean it's not a
natural
thing?
It's not a natural thing. It's not something that's... AIDS hasn't been, like, living under the soil for millions of years going, I'll wait till the 1980s and I'll come out and kill a load of people.
No, but it is a natural thing.
It's a new thing.
Yeah,
it's new.
Yeah, but loads of animals are new, aren't they? Evolutionary terms, there's new animals in evolution.
I'm sure there's new stuff deep down that's just like, almost like bacteria, sat under the soil, it'll never come to the top. Right? It's like having an old woman who's a neighbour. She never goes out, she doesn't bother you. Let her be.
But what if that old neighbour could unlock the secrets to...
I don't think she can.
Just even to us understanding the complexities of the universe, of the way things have developed and grown.
Because we know about it.
Well, why would we know about it? Because I never understand, why is it you want to stop researching and studying now? Why is it that you're happy to just draw a line under everything else? What if people had said this back in the 19th century?
We've done this. I think someone in the 1900s, said everything that's going to be invented has been invented. And then look what happened in that century.
Yeah, and I've said to you, look at the stuff that is being invented now. The frisbee and stuff like that. It's all stuff that like, you kind of go, it's alright, it's a good idea, but we don't need it.
Yeah, but the frisbee wasn't being worked on by the top brains of our generation. That was some novelty toy that some manufacturer made.
Yeah, but it's like, look at the fuss we made over that fella who came up with a Dyson vac. Everyone was like, he's up there with Einstein. Well, he's not. It's a good vac. It cleans up floors well and everything.
Who said he's up there with Einstein?
His PR people.
In one of those programmes where they did, like, great inventions of our time, it was easy early on. You go, Einstein, Newton did this, Archimedes, Dyson. And they started to run out, because it is harder to come up with something new now. Because everything that's needed, remember, the things we've invented are things that we sort of go, we could do with that. Inventors don't sit there going, what can I make? Oh, I need a toaster. They've sat there, they've burnt the toast under the grill, and they've gone, I need some sort of device here.
Well, yeah.
And what can it do? I'll shape
Necessity
it like that,
is the mother of invention.
Yeah.
However, there are people who sit around going, where's a loophole in the market? Where's a niche?
Well, here's something. About a year ago, I came up with a see-through toaster, so that you can see how much the toast is cooked.
Right.
I found it about 2 months after that. Someone had done it. So I've just been beaten to the post.
Yeah, but all you're really doing, Karl, is modifying an existing invention.
What other examples are being pipped at the post, are there? It's got to be one that hasn't been done. Or it's not your theory.
But also something that unlocks a mystery.
Or helps the world.
What's causing problems in the world at the moment that needs sorting?
Well, cures for things. Faster transport. Anything to do with security, anything to do with well-being. I mean,
obviously environmental concerns are a big issue. People trying to design automobiles that
Fuel.
can run on different alternative fuels.
I met a bloke on a conference once who sent a drawing to Blue Peter. It was their design a car of the future, and he sent them a drawing that was a car, and the only innovation was that you can have a shit while driving. And then he put shit goes down pipe, which becomes fuel. They must have looked at that and gone, what a maniac.
I think that's a brilliant... I mean, I've driven a long way. I drove to Cornwall recently, and I would have loved...
But I think he did it when he was about
into the
9, and he must have thought, oh, I'm being driven to school, oh, I need the toilet, wouldn't it be good?
Well, why hasn't that been done?
What?
Well, like Steve says, I've been in the same situation when you're driving and you go, oh, where's the service station? You see a sign saying 36 miles.
So what would
you're in agony.
So you suggest pull your trousers down and shit down in the seat that's a toilet?
Yeah, well, what's wrong with that?
Well, you got your nan in your back.
She's got one as well.
So you are going to Cornwall all shitting?
Well, not all the time, but it's more useful to me than a lighter.
So also,
Where do you wash your hands?
Wash your hands or wipe your arse? At what point does that occur?
At the end of the journey.
Oh, God! So, you get in, you have a shit at Deptford, and you wipe your arse at Polperro.
Yeah, but like I've said to you, this isn't like just people going, oh, I think I'll have one. You need one? Not really, but it's something to do, innit? I'm sick of playing I Spy, I'm having a shit. You have it when you really need one. When you have to pull off a motorway, it's a lot of messing about. There's probably going to be a queue at the toilet. No more queues at toilets.
10 minutes, Rick, that takes, doesn't it? 10 minutes to pull off, have a quick shit.
Driving along. It's just going on. It's just going on. Don't even know about it. Radio's on. Everyone's happy. Doesn't matter. I don't know. I mean, we all do it as well. That's the thing.
Anything else you'd come up with? I mean, so far you've come up with nothing. That was a 9-year-old boy's idea.
I mean, the Breville maker wasn't needed.
That's true.
What's the Breville maker?
Like toasted sandwiches. But there's so many things, chocolate fountains, anything like that. I just go, what are these? Who's invented these? Who's okayed this idea? And yet I can't have a shit on the motorway.
Think of computers.
What about them?
Well, I mean, that's in the last few years, you know, 100 years in our existence, okay? They've been dabbling with anything even close to a computer. Nothing before that.
Yeah, computers are a good thing, and it baffles me as to how they came about. When you think a computer chip is just made out of sand. Now, for someone to come up with that, you go, there must have been some sort of alien involved here.
What do you mean? Why do you think that? So I love it. So the frisbee, rubbish. Anything too clever, well, it wasn't an invention, it was an alien. So there's nothing between frisbee and computer chip.
What I'm saying is, it's not even an idea, is it?
What do you mean?
A computer chip, where's that come from?
Oh, it's amazing.
Well,
it's astounding, yeah.
So you think it was an alien? What are you talking about?
Great.
Because I can't believe that someone would go, right, I want to make something that will hold information and be able to do, I know, let's use some sand, we've got loads of that. You go, what, you don't...
Well, that's what genius is, though, isn't
Carl,
it?
there's no alien involved.
No, but when I say alien, I don't mean an alien came down here and said, you know, oh, do you want to buy this? There could have been a spaceship crash, right?
Right, yeah.
And there's all them rumours, isn't there, in that hangar. They've got the spaceship, they take it apart, they go, yeah, wheels, we've got them, yeah, steering wheel, And then they go, hang on, what's this here? And they find the chips, and they break it down, and they find these sand.
But that as an explanation to human genius is nearly as ridiculous as the Adam and Eve explaining life on Earth. How could you tell that to someone without going red? I mean, I always worry about that, where people who believe in Adam and Eve, don't they wish there was a slightly better explanation? With all the evidence we've got, do you know what I mean? With all the evidence for evolution, that they think the Earth is 5,000 years old, and God made Adam out of some dust, and then he went, oh, I need a bird. It's alright, I'll make it out of your rib.
Yeah,
right?
But there's loads of things that you go, oh, this is a bit embarrassing. I bet Charles Darwin, when he said we've all come from apes, I bet he sat at home going, Should I tell them about the frisbee first?
But the fact that sand makes computer chips is not the interesting thing. The interesting thing is how the human being discovered that, what am I talking about, sand makes computer chips, that silicon can have information, put on it. But we're made out of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, do you know what I mean? And hydrogen.
But that's nature. You see, nature is amazing. You can't beat nature. Right?
No.
It comes up with some amazing things.
Yeah, but man is nature. Don't forget that we're an animal. We're a brilliant ape. Now, it's clear to any sensible, reasonable, educated person that we did evolve from, apes, or rather, we had, a common ancestry, and that we're closest to the chimpanzee. We're actually 98.6% genetically identical to a chimpanzee, Carl. We're closer to a chimp than a chimp is to a gorilla. Genetically speaking.
I just find that hard to believe when you
Well, I'm telling you it's true, so what are you finding hard to believe?
Well, your eyes, your own eyes are what sort of comes up with a lot of, thoughts.
No, no. One's eyes don't come up with thoughts.
No,
Two,
but what I'm saying is,
what you mean is,
through your own eyes,
you look at things and make up your own decisions.
So if there was no Darwin or anything, and I was sat somewhere and someone said, right, we're going to bring a few animals in, one of them's related.
Right. They're all related.
Alright, but they're all related to you, but one's not so long ago, right? And they brought them in, and they lined them up, and there was a chimp stood there, and a gorilla, and what's another one? Orangutan. Right, yeah. Right, a girl, the orangutan, send that out. I'll be first to go, so he's definitely not linked to me.
See, I disagree, but there we go. That's just looking at you.
Yeah. So the hair colouring, there's none of that in our family.
Well, there's no hair.
I like the fact that it loses out because it's ginger.
So that's gone. Right, so I'm left with a gorilla and a chimp.
Yeah.
I would go for the gorilla.
Well, it's a good guess, but you'd be wrong. So we are much closer to the chimpanzee, okay? 98.6% genetically identical. Think of that. We only differ on 1.4% of our genetic makeup.
That must be the arse. Because that's a lot different.
Animal rights is a hot topic.
It's a big issue.
What rights should they have? How do they compare to humans? You know, it's a well-known fact that we test on animals, with the assumption that humans are more important. We test drugs on animals, and we're basically saying, if they die, they die. We'll learn something from them. People do make distinctions between animals, right? They know that it's probably more acceptable to kill an ant, than,
punch a cow.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think that comes again from how close are they to humans? Have they got a face?
But that's
are they furry?
I told you, didn't I, about me dad's mate who had a monkey and he had to thump it.
What? Well, there's two things there. One, why did he have a monkey? Two, what sort of discipline is thumping a monkey? What was the monkey doing?
He was annoying his wife a lot and sort of, you know, pinching her arse and stuff like that.
Right,
no, that's
wait
not
a minute,
true.
we've never heard this before. How have we had all these years of
I'm sure
monkeys
I
and
told
we've
you
never
about
heard
it
this
ages
before?
ago.
Your dad had a mate who had a monkey?
Yeah, I'm sure I told you.
Why did he have a monkey? Just for a laugh?
Well, it was back in the day when people did. They all had, like, odd, sort of pets and that, didn't they? In, like, about 68.
Oh, 1968, when everyone had a monkey.
But he had to thump it. Now, the weird thing is...
No, that's weird enough.
Is this all the story? This is the entire story?
No.
You've got, all the information you've got is he had a monkey and he had to thump it?
Yeah, my dad told me about it. When he found out that I was into monkeys, he said, oh, Benny thumped one. And,
Benny thumped one! Oh, my son's into natural history, particularly, simian variety. I've got an interesting fact for you, Carl. Sit down. What is it, Peter? Benny thumped one. Brilliant.
But what was interesting is the way that people are thumping other people all the time. No one bats an eyelid. Thump a monkey. People go, you thumped a monkey.
Yes, they do. They do go, you thumped a monkey.
So that's what's weird, isn't it?
But this chimp doesn't want to be caged and kept in a fucking council house in
No,
Manchester.
it was quite happy. And if
It
he wants to
wasn't
live like a
happy.
human, I mean, in the 70s, you know, there were all the teabag adverts and all that, and they were loving that.
No, they
and
weren't
people
loving it.
interfere, people go, that's unfair. Now they're in like a cage in a zoo. Because it was better when I was pushing a piano up a stairs.
They weren't really.
They weren't actual delivery men.
They weren't really sitting down and having a cup of tea.
Well, it wasn't a documentary. A week in the life of the monkey delivery men.
I love that. Chimps in a zoo now going, okay, now at least we were free.
Remember when we used to drive a van?
And we're on 58 quid a week.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be kept in a house in Manchester. It's cruel to keep a person in a house in Manchester, so it's fucking cruel to keep a monkey.
Are you aware, Karl, that 99% of all forms of life that have existed on Earth are now extinct?
So there's only 1% of everything that's ever been still alive.
Yeah.
But that's just as well, isn't it?
Why?
Well, I think it's pretty crowded now. So it's just as well. You see, this is what I'm saying now. Years ago, they accepted that. Cavemen wouldn't have been going, oh, we're losing stuff's dying. Whereas now, everyone's, oh, the panda, polar bears, not got any ice, and all that. At the end of the day, the world's only so big, we know it's not getting any bigger. Right? Stuff's got to die, hasn't it? You can't keep everything.
Just think of that, though, as a tool of natural selection, that the species that are surviving today are 1%. Just how amazing that is to survive and evolve. How perfect everything is on Earth. It's amazing.
No, but it'll drop off again, won't it? As we find in new stuff, other stuff will be dying.
Well,
in that 1%, when that was written, when that statement was made, was the dodo gone or was it still here?
It was.
I'm pretty sure the dodo was gone.
It was gone already.
It doesn't matter though, does it? A percentage is a percentage.
Yeah. The dodo went. The last dodo died. They said that was the last dodo. No more dodos. But we found
a Dido. Still making great
albums.
We lost the dodo, but we've got Dido.
A recent album's not sold very well, actually.
It's
dying out. Dying out. Everything has a lifespan.
Dido's dying out.
But, and I think that's life. So it's not amazing, really.
That's not either anymore.
No, that's not either. That's life's gone.
That's gone.
That was good.
What
Esther Ranson forced to just die out in the jungle.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
When I went to Natural History Museum, there was a thing called Cytherea or something. Right, died out ages ago. No one knows about them. Which is weird, because everyone knows about the dodo.
Well, that's because it died out, in, I think was it 18th century or something, wasn't it?
Well, you know, within what might term recent history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this thing's sort of, I don't think it was far behind it. It's just timing, isn't it? That got more press, the dodo. The Cytherea, or whatever it's called. It was a big thing. It was a cross.
You've seen it, and you still don't know what it's called.
Well, it's spelled awkwardly. But it's, but they said it was a cross between a moose and a giraffe. Now, we don't need that, do we? At no point have we said, do you know what we need here to get us through this?
Well, that's funny, because when they first named the giraffe, they called it the camelopard, because they thought it was a cross between a camel and a leopard.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that when zoologists examined a platypus for the first time, some of them thought it might have been a hoax, because they thought it could have been different parts of different animals sewn together. Because the platypus has the fur of an otter, the tail of a beaver, the bill and feet of a duck, and the venomous spurs of a fighting gamecock. So they assumed that
it was like a scrap heap challenge of animals.
Yeah, I remember, right?
But they actually... just to clarify that, it actually is descended from a link between reptiles and mammals almost 150 million years ago, a sort of living fossil.
When I was about 13, 14, I once tried to improve the animal kingdom by making the hardest animal ever, the most perfect animal.
Now, just to clarify, you didn't, in sort of Frankenstein style, try and bolt various bits of animals together?
It was a drawing that I sent to Blue Peter. There was no competition going on.
You just thought they would be appreciative?
I thought they'd look at that and they'd go, well, he's a genius. Yeah. This is like Da Vinci.
Sure.
And this is the animal. This is what I thought, the perfect animal. I mean, when I say perfect, I meant the hardest animal. This animal, it could take anything. It was just the strongest, hardest, fastest. Right? Yeah. So, I started with a head of a lion.
Of course, that makes sense.
Do you know what I mean? Oh, it looks good. Bite you, right? Okay. I popped that on the body of a rhinoceros.
Okay, so it's got the toughness, the armour, if you like.
It's full strength. Head of a lion. Think of that. So you've got this picture. Head of a lion, body of a rhino.
Perfect.
Okay? Hold on, though. Pop some arms on it. The front arms were the arms of a gorilla.
The arms of a gorilla.
So it
okay.
could punch, grip, it could make stuff. The lion, I mean, that's where the lion falls down, because it can't make stuff.
Sure.
It can't climb, you know. So, okay then, wait a minute. You think that's got enough weaponry?
Sounds like it.
No. Pop on the tail of a giant scorpion.
A giant scorpion?
Yeah, yeah.
So a scorpion that's the size of a rhinoceros.
Exactly, so the tail was as long as that lion. So now, this is a scary animal.
Yeah.
And this is where the animal fell down. I thought, right, legs. Well, the fastest animal is the cheetah.
Cheetah.
Popped on 4 cheetah legs.
4 cheetah legs.
It would have collapsed.
Crushed under
It
the
would have
weight of the
collapsed
rhinoceros.
immediately. So,
Yeah. And you drew this, did you?
drew it, yeah.
Did you show it to anyone
Yeah,
other
my
than
mates went, that's brilliant.
Right.
I said, that's brilliant.
And then just sent straight to Blue Peter.
Yeah.
Any reply?
No reply at all.
Really?
No reply at all.
Surprised.
What do you think of that, Carl? What would you, how would you, though, what would, if you wanted to make the ultimate fighting animal, what would you come up with? If you had the power, like that fella in Arabian Nights, size of a chimpanzee, you could change into anything, but you could change into, you know, like that.
I don't think I'd go for strength and that. I'd go for survival.
What would you do? Cockroach.
I'd have like, an armadillo's body.
Right. Okay. So that's as big as you can be now then. So you can't really pop on a lion's head, because it'd just lay there, going, I can't fucking move.
Alright. I'd have, head of an owl.
Right?
The head of an owl?
Yeah, why, what does that bring to the table?
The head's there to sort of make it look friendly to the
make it look
human
friendly.
race. So,
Okay.
because if you look half decent to the human race, they'll look after you.
Right.
That's the way it works,
Yeah,
isn't it? With
okay.
a cat and a dog and all that.
Okay.
So the owl makes it look nice.
Right.
I'd have, I wouldn't have legs, I'd go for like the slug juice.
What do you mean? So now, you're a really slow-moving, legless armadillo with the head of an owl.
Slithering along. How
Yeah.
is that going to be friendly? They'll see the beautiful face, but then they'll be terrified by the sludge.
No, because the head's that nice that they'll forgo the sludge.
But hold on though. But wait a minute. So it's got this thing that's stuck, right, going at 0.1 miles an hour, with a going hoo, right? You come over, you kick the head off. How is this?
No,
a
because the
survival?
head can go into the thing like a tortoise.
Can it?
Yeah, of course it can. Into the armadillo body.
Well, no, an armadillo doesn't do that. It just curls up into a
No,
ball.
this isn't an armadillo, is it?
So it's
Why has it got the sludge? Why is that
Because
so attractive?
what I'm thinking is an armadillo. They're good when they're on their feet. Flip them, they get stuck like a tortoise.
Right.
Slug stuff keeps it down. So if anything attacks it, it's like a limpet or one of them things that can.
Why
block
have a
stuff.
limpet then?
But it can't get any. How it can barely move. It can
Just go
hardly
and
get
just go
anywhere.
and kick it.
What do
Just
you mean
this-
it can't get
Well, how
anywhere?
can it escape from danger? It's going to move very
rubbish.
slowly.
No, because
What? That's the
it'll
worst
lock itself in. It'll lock itself in.
Yeah, and then I just scoop it up on the
You
sand.
can't scoop it up. It locks itself in if it's in danger. I'd give it peacock feathers.
This is the worst animal
Why has it got peacock feathers?
Again, it's just
the worst animal I've ever heard.
Why has it got peacock feathers?
threatening. It looks more threatening.
It
That's
do-
what
what?
peacock
That's the
feathers do.
least threatening thing, peacock feathers. It's like Danny LaRue coming at you. There's
Yeah.
nothing remotely scary about peacock
Yeah,
feathers.
to humans,
Yeah.
but the humans won't be harming it because they like the owl head. People will like to have these things in the garden. They eat lettuce.
They eat lettuce. They eat Why has it got a beak? They eat lettuce. He's telling them what it's going to eat now. The owl's going, fuck that, I want a mouse. I love the fact that he's based what it eats on the fact that how it moves a bit like a slug.
Yes,
Let it eat
yeah.
lettuce. It moves that, and let it eat lettuce.
Like I said, it's not that weird if that existed. If that was normal, that when you went out to empty your bin, there was one of them sliding up the wall. You wouldn't even double take. It'd just be like, oh, there's the owl head peacock feathered thing.
I don't know why it's climbing walls in an effort to find lettuce.
Yeah, why is it climbing up that wall?
Because that's the only way it can see properly. Because its head's coming out like that.
So even though you've designed this animal, now you're even extending its
got problems.
limitations.
Well,
Now
it's
got
mainly
problems.
made as to be on walls. 'Cause what else is living on walls?
Oh, God. Oh, fucking hell. What a useless animal that is. Carl, I mean.
But nature chucks up odd things, doesn't it?
Don't. Why are we starting on this again?
No, I'm just saying that is nature. Now and again, you'll get stuff that.
Oh, was he looking at you?
Yeah.
Was he?
Look at his fucking head. Look at his stupid, round, fucking orangey head and... Oh.
Why aren't you a freak? You've got a little bald head. We're not meant to be bald.
Well, I was, I think. That's the thing, that's what nature's done. You see, I didn't do anything with my hair when I had hair. I didn't style it, I didn't do anything with it, and it probably thought, what am I doing here? Whereas people who love their hair, and they comb it and have different styles and look after it, they have hair for ages.
Nonsense, absolute nonsense.
Well, you're saying
absolute nonsense.
Well, it's a little bit weird then, isn't it? And that's what happens with old people. Once they lose their, will to live, once they lose the job, they get old. What's my purpose? What am I doing here? And it's like nature goes, you're not needed. And they die. Maybe that's what happened with the dodo. What's it doing? It can't fly. Its wings are useless. Eat it. Tastes horrible. Kill it.
No, they did eat it. I think they did eat it.
Yeah, but it wasn't very nice, was it?
I think they over-farmed it. I think that's why it was extinct. Because they did eat it.
No, but they did eat it, but they didn't like it. Everybody, you never saw like a fully eaten carcass of a dodo.
You're making this up again. Eaten. All conjecture.
No, but they didn't eat it all. Everybody would probably try it and go, it's not for me, that.
But you don't know
no
this.
idea,
You don't
you're just
know
making
this.
it up.
What's this based on? People... And also, why would that kid it out?
Because, I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because if it's not nice, people don't get another one in. And they die out. The reason we've got loads of chickens and loads of cows is because we eat them. If we ate polar bears, we wouldn't be short of them. Because you'd farm it, you'd take more care, but what's a polar bear doing? Sat on a block of ice floating about. It's no use to us, is it? It sounds harsh.
Once again, got his information from a Glacier Mint advert.
No, it's no use to us. We know they're there, and it's all very sad when you see them on the news sort of struggling and all that.
Yeah.
But it's going to make them stronger.
If scientists could bring back to life the creatures that have existed in the past, do you think that's a good idea or a bad idea?
Bad idea.
Bad idea?
Yeah.
Now, leaving aside the horrors of Jurassic Park, do you think, for research purposes, it might be a useful idea?
I don't think it is. For me, it's like a Friends reunited. It's like people who you knew ages ago getting back in touch, and you go, I don't want to get in touch with you. That was then. And it's the same with a mammoth. That was then. You had your day, it didn't work out. Now, to bring it back, it's unfair. You're messing with nature anyway. I think I've said to you before about, I don't know what they do with them. They're massive things. I think it's like, they're just not thinking about it. It's like rushing into buying furniture. That's massive. And then you get it back and you can't get it through the door.
No,
and it'll be like that with a mammoth. Where are we putting them? Oh, I didn't think of that.
But what about if you could say you could feed the third world with mammoth meat?
But what's wrong with we've got loads of cows and stuff. Why do they need a mammoth? No one even knows what it tastes like. Imagine that. You bring it back and you've got another dodo on your hands. People go, this is horrible.
Well, they used to eat them, because what humans found out is they could take down a mammoth, but they got greedy and they found out they could chase them, and so they'd go over an edge of a cliff. And what they did, they went crazy and they used to herd them and they'd all die, but of course then they'd waste the meat because they couldn't eat it all.
Yeah. Well, that's I think that's why we shouldn't bring them back, because they are too big. So even if...
Didn't hear a word of what you said then, didn't hear
No, I did. Everyone can eat them, but the problem is they're so big that you couldn't eat it quick enough, so it all went off.
Yeah, but I was saying that they killed too many at once.
Yeah, I know.
He doesn't know what you're talking about.
I heard that. But what I'm saying is, why not bring back an animal that's smaller, manageable for everyone?
Yeah.
That's why the chicken is perfect. Out of all the animals, perfect. Good size, feeds a family of 4. Whilst it's alive, it's giving you eggs.
I agree.
So it tastes nice.
But it doesn't if you think it's not having a good life. If suddenly said to me, I stopped eating it because I found out about how badly they were treated like 10 years ago, and at least I have organic. And honestly, eating an animal that's been tortured doesn't taste nice. Foie gras would make me vomit. The thought of it, the evil involved in torturing a goose because the liver tastes slightly better. I mean, where does it end?
I think if they're looked after, they don't want to die. The ones in a nice warm little, hut, being fed lovely food, you're going, right, we're going to cut your head off, and they're probably like, oh God, I'm going to miss this, I'm loving this life. Whereas the one sat in its own shit's going, have me first, I'm sick of it. There's different ways of looking at it.
Good point. So what you're saying is, give animals a bad life, torture them, and they'll be happy when you eat them. Brilliant.
But we've ordered we've ordered a turkey.
Right.
It's way too big. So I don't know what we're going to do with it. And it's worrying me now, actually. It'll be nice on Christmas Day, but it's my job to look after the kitchen and everything, tidy up. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it all.
The fact that he's been given a job to make him worthwhile, really, it's like a little home.
No, but a chicken, your chicken...
Arthur, you're washing up today, aren't you? Yeah, Arthur's job.
And that's the problem with a mammoth. I think the idea of it's probably quite pleasant. You go, oh, that's something new to try out. But afterwards, when you got to tidy it up and stick it in cling film, you'll be going, how much of this have we got? So I wouldn't bring back the mammoth.
Brilliant.
Charles Darwin, of course, once said, I cannot persuade myself that a beneficent and omnipotent God would have created parasitic wasps with the express intention of their feeding within the living bodies of caterpillars. His point being that, creatures and their reproductive cycles are so complicated, so intricate, so bizarre, that alone is proof of the non-existence of God. Where do you stand on that?
It's pretty weird. We talked about it ages ago, didn't we, about the wasp that has a thing growing in it and all that.
Lays its egg in a spider.
Yeah, and then the spider goes mad, doesn't it?
Because you fucking can't lay your eggs in me, you fucking stripy wanker. Goes absolutely fucking mad.
It is weird.
I what's going out my arse in a couple of you fucking...
I don't know how it found out that that's what it had to do. That's the amazing thing, isn't it?
Well, it didn't, did it?
It just did it.
No, I know, but when I say found out, I mean it just did it.
Well, it's like mimicry, when they say mimicry, that there's a poisonous snake, and then a snake comes along that looks a bit like it that's not poisonous, but people go, oh, careful, it's poisonous. That snake didn't go, I'm gonna strain, and I'm gonna try and look like Scary over there. Some were born that looked a bit like Scary, and they survived.
Yeah, I know.
It's just being chosen.
But that's changing now, isn't it? The fact that, like, when them frogs came out, that are dangerous, they were just dangerous.
What frogs came out? But
some frogs in the jungle somewhere that were, like, pretty dangerous.
New from Mattel, dangerous frogs in the jungle.
Yeah.
But people didn't know that they were dangerous. And they were going about killing loads of stuff. Anyway.
They weren't going, no, they don't go around killing loads of stuff.
Nature said, this is a bit unfair. Make them orange. So then, the frogs that were orange were dangerous, but you got a warning. It's a bit more fair. Nature said, if they're going to go about being dangerous, make them orange, make them stand out. In a jungle, orange stands out in all the green, right? So people went, there's an orange frog, stay away. Then, over time, nature went, right, what's happened here now? Everyone knows the orange frog's dangerous. Birds aren't eating it because they know it's dangerous. People are avoiding it. They don't even need the poison, it's just the orange it needs. So now you've got a load of frogs that are orange, not even deadly. But people go, is that a deadly orange one, or is it a friendly one? Well, best to leave it.
Again, it's explained my point, but took 30 times as long over.
But also,
but listen, let me finish what I was going to say. But what's interesting with all that is, evolution has taught stuff to lie. Because that orange frog isn't deadly, it's going about like it's the big I am.
Yeah.
You could squash it with your hand, you can't do anything. But evolution...
It's swaggering around.
It's made it lie. So lying is part of evolution.
But it's not lying, is it?
What do you mean?
Wow.
It's got no
But the
poison.
interesting thing about, like a toad that, secretes a poison is that, often it's no good for it as an individual, but it's good for the species as a whole, because someone will come along and chew it. Now that toad might well die, but that fox is sick, and it doesn't eat another one. So it's sort of saving the species.
Yeah, but at the same time, the dodo tasted rubbish. Everybody said, don't eat one of them again.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
I have read it. I've read that they don't taste very nice. But it didn't
Why
stop
doesn't it taste very nice?
It's just in the same way that chicken's nicer than duck. You can't all have nice tasting flesh. Pork's alright, but I prefer beef.
Point proven, good night.
So, what I'm saying is, with the dodo, it did taste horrible, but everyone wanted to give it a go. Meanwhile, it's different people trying it, so it died out in the end anyway. So your theory of a frog being poisonous and a fox going, yeah, that's horrible, I won't eat another one of them. Then you get another fox trying one, and another fox. They don't all have a word with each other, do they? They're going, I had a rotten frog the other night. So it's pointless. It's a pointless exercise.
What I like is your image of nature. This idea that sort of, in your head, there's Mother Nature sat around like a boardroom table, making these decisions. People are coming in, oi, frog, what's been going on? Well, I've been poisoning people. Why? What about you? It's just, you just picture everything as one large
Your confusion is that you still think of evolution has a will. You still believe that things are striving to be something else, as opposed to surviving if they adapt or change. I just want to, go through some of the wonderful diversity of nature, some of the incredible feats of the animal kingdom, in a way. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Alligators and old people have something in common. They can hear notes only up to 4,000 vibrations a second.
I don't know what you're meant to do with that information. When's that ever come in handy? When a band's getting together, they don't go, no, we're after crocodiles and old people. What sort of tune do they like? It's pointless.
You're not impressed, okay. Scientists have applied electrodes to the pleasure centre in a rat's brain. The rat pressed a lever 48,000 times over a full day in order to receive that shock that seemed to him pleasurable, choosing the simulator instead of having water or food or sex. So it chose that virtual pleasure, well, not virtual pleasure, it gave it real pleasure, but an artificial stimulus rather than the real thing, like food or water
It
or
never
sex.
ate and had water. It never had a change.
No, it was addicted. It loved this electrode. It was giving it just made it feel good. It was getting as much pleasure from that as the real thing, from sex or food.
Yeah, but with any pleasure, you get sick of it, don't you? If you have too much of it.
Well, it had 48,000 hits in a day.
But I like having a Twix. But if I have more than 4 a week, I've ruined that little pleasure I used to like.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, what did you do the second day?
No,
did you go near the machine the second day?
No.
There you go then.
No. But what you're saying is this, right? That Twix is failing to give you pleasure on that 5th Twix, but this succeeds every time because it's literally pleasure. It hits the part of the brain that says this is pleasurable.
So,
But
my pleasure nerve that you're talking about in my head, it lights up when I have a Twix.
I don't think it ever lights up.
Right.
I don't think you've got a pleasure nerve.
But it lights up when I have a Twix.
Right.
It lights up if there's some chicken, right? It lights
Fuck
up if
me.
there's a,
What a miserable cunt he is.
you know, all loads of things.
Chicken and Twix.
That's it.
No.
That's all he lives for.
No.
Hang yourself, mate.
So, what you're saying is, if I had that device that the rat's got, I'd just sit there, wouldn't I, hitting it, thinking, I can't be bothered going to the shop for a Twix, I'll just hit this button.
Yeah. Think of this. So aggressive is the horned frog of Argentina that people believe that if the frog bites the lip of a horse, the horse will die. Actually, the frog's mouth contains no poison. It earned its fearsome reputation because it attacks animals many times its size. What do you think of a frog
It's
attacking
ridiculous.
a horse?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know why that would happen. Why is he getting upset with a horse? Of all the things for a frog to be, like, getting cocky with, them two should never even meet.
Why?
Because it's not, I mean, fights are normally over something, aren't they?
Yeah.
If you have a fight with someone, you're in my yard, or, you
Yeah.
know, you're fighting over something. A horse and a
The
frog.
fact that he immediately goes back to the 1930s.
Yeah.
You're in my yard.
But a horse and a frog, how did that disagreement
What are they
happen?
squabbling over?
I don't understand what they've got in common. I don't understand it. I bet that's only happened once. It's a rare incident. Someone should put that in a book. I can't imagine it. That's happening a lot. That horses are being bit by frogs all over the shop.
Oh, God. I saw this trailer for this documentary that said, the man who's having a baby. And I turned on, and it's a woman going through a sex change, and she's pregnant. That's not a man having a baby. That's a woman having a beard.
Having a breakdown.
Why is that? That's a con. That is pure sense. It's a man having a baby. Look, the world's first. No, it's a woman. It's a woman. What do you think of that? What would you do for your doctor? And I came to you and went, Carl, listen, I'm having a bit of a rethink of these. I the penis, I hate it. I hate this cock.
But what do you mean you hate it?
I hate it. I don't want it there. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. It just sits there resting on these fucking awful testicles that I'm gonna get rid of. I want this thrown away.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, they're not a great look. I know that. Everyone knows that. It's just the way they are. I mean, if we're all being honest, they're an odd design. I don't think anyone likes their own, do they? That's why we cover them. They're not a great thing, are they?
What? It's not why we cover them, though, is it?
It's part of it, I think. I think deep down, I mean, even if, like, I know you hate the Adam and Eve thing, but even if back then he was like, good God, cover them up. Even he had a leaf on.
No, but listen. So, are you thinking fundamentally, then, that aesthetically, the testicles and the penis isn't as good as it could be? What would you have there instead?
Well, it's designed that way because that's the way it's got to be designed. It's more about function than
yeah.
And that's the thing, innit? With modern technology,
You know, the thing is, the testicles have to be outside because they have to be a few degrees below body temperature.
yeah.
Otherwise, the Sertoli cells die, which sort of feed the semen and all that. So, they you know, to be functioning and sort of like fertile, they have to be outside, which is annoying because I'd put a little rib cage round them, like that. I'd pop a rib cage round those, protect them, wear a cricket box, have that built in, so you cannot get a swift kick in the bollocks that makes you feel sick.
But it'd be better if they could sort of reverse up in a way that they were hidden away.
Right.
So that they were just, then you dropped them, it's like, right, we need to cool them down, be at it in about half an hour.
Yeah.
Drop them down.
Yeah, like the gear on an aeroplane, landing gear. Yeah, and landing gear down, and the bollocks and the cooling down. Or you could just pop them in the fridge for 10 minutes.
It's
Well,
like
they could detach and you could pop them in the fridge. You cool them
Yeah.
down.
Can you make me some breasts?
easy.
Okay. Go on, you say easy, what are you gonna do? What's your plan?
Just, how do you do that? It's tablets, isn't it?
No, but...
Testosterone, innit?
Testosterone? Toblerone. I want some Toblerone.
Just well, sort of pointy tits. Like Madonna.
Where do you stop, though? Supposing I came to you and said, Doctor, listen, I like the bollocks, I like the penis, but I don't like them where they are. I want them in the middle of my chest. I want breasticles. Yeah? The arse, I don't like it round the back, I can't see what's going on. Pop that on the front where the bollocks were. I want my arse where I can look down and see what's going on. Can you do it?
I think it's just easier to move the head, isn't it?
Rick, I know you're a big fan of Professor Richard Dawkins, the evolutionary biologist. He wrote a book, The Ancestor's Tale, in which he predicted a post-human world. This was his kind of hypothesis, if we were well, let me read what he's written. If nuclear war destroys humanity and most of the rest of life, a good bet for survival in the short term and for evolutionary ancestry in the long term is rats. I have a post-Armageddon vision. We and all the other large animals are gone. Rodents emerge as the ultimate post-human scavengers. They gnaw their way through New York, London and Tokyo, digesting spilled larders, ghost supermarkets and human corpses, and turning them into new generations of rats and mice, whose racing populations explode out of the cities and into the countryside. When all the relics of human profligacy are eaten, populations crash again and the rodents turn on each other, and on the cockroaches scavenging with them. In a period of intense competition, short generations, perhaps with radioactivity-enhanced mutation rates, boost rapid evolution. With human ships and planes gone, islands become islands again, with local populations isolated, save for occasional lucky raftings. Ideal conditions for evolutionary divergence. Within 5 million years, a whole range of new species replace the ones we know. Herds of giant grazing rats are stalked by saber-toothed predatory rats. Given enough time, will a species of intelligent, cultivated rats emerge? Will rodent historians and scientists eventually organise careful archaeological digs and through the strata of our long-compacted cities reconstruct the peculiar and temporally tragic circumstances that gave rat-kind its big break?
Karl, thoughts?
I mean, who knows what's going to happen?
Well, that's about it for the second in the series of the Ricky Gervais Guide to. That was Natural History.
I think we've left no stone unturned there, Rick.
I think that is a definitive work. If you've enjoyed the Ricky Gervais Guide to Natural History, why not go back and listen to the Ricky Gervais Guide to Medicine, if you haven't already, or if you have, because it'd be revision.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
There will be a test.
There won't be a test.
There won't be a test.
We can't be bothered.
No.
And next in the series is the Ricky Gervais Guide to the Arts. Look forward to that.
Sorry, just to clarify, that's the arts.
Yeah.
Right.
Not the arse.
Sorry, just
yeah,
because the way you speak.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you should never go away people speak your words all.
Yeah, well, no, but just be clear.
Well, no, but you
Be clear.
you're not being clear, aren't you? You're making dumb, bumbling fool. And we won't even get on to Karl Pilkington. Dopey twat. Anyway, thank you very much from me, Ricky Gervais, with me, Stephen Merchant.
Goodbye.
And Karl Pilkington.
Right.